that's a bigger problem than Donald Trump?
No, I don't. That's happening again, but it's not the government doing it. We're doing it to each other. This cancel culture bullshit, we're doing what 1984 had Oceania, the government, doing. We're doing to each other.
Dr. Phil went on Bill Maher's podcast, the Club Random podcast, and whenever Bill Maher started bringing up some extremely woke topics, Dr. Phil just had to shut him down. And for the most part, things were cordial, but whenever Bill Maher just took it too far, going too woke, too unhinged off the rails, Dr. Phil just had to put Bill Maher in his place on his own show here, like I said, the Club Random podcast. Let's get into this clip here where Dr. Phil has to shut down Bill Maher for the unhinged woke take.
Who does it? COVID paranoids. That's who does it. We have a new breed of people.
And that's why I say politically, I don't care, because the Republicans started it, the Democrats continued it, and the kids, and this remote learning crap. If you look at some of the remote learning, particularly for grades 1st, 2nd, 3rd, they got 0 out of it. They got 0 out of it. That means they're now way behind. And if you're not reading on grade level at the end of the 3rd grade, your likelihood of dropping out is like 6x if you're in a low socioeconomic group.
So you may think that you're not going to be political, but you're being political. And I think it's a good place for you to go.
Well,
you know, you can't avoid it anymore. You can't avoid it. And I need allies who are like where you and I are with, yes, both sides. Now, again, I come back to Trump. You got to like be on the page that he's worse than Joe Biden and very different than Joe Biden. Come on, Doc.
Look, it's not politics that determine the outcome of society. It's culture. I don't care about politics. You go back to the beginning, and Democrat and Republicans have been in control about 50-50.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
They've had control of the House and Senate while they were in control of the presidency, about 50-50. They've had it not in control 50-50. And look where we are. They both come up about the same place. I don't care about that. I care about our culture.
Okay, I'm disappointed that I can't get you to just out and out say that Trump is a completely different animal than the politics on the left and the right that we both agree is very lacking on both sides.
It begs the question.
He is a completely different element and much more dangerous. I mean, we're talking about some sort of unnatural predator that was introduced into this wild, which was not it was a jungle in the first place. But this is a different element. Nobody else has ever tried to not concede an election in this country, try to overturn an election we all, even the people in his own party, understood was lost. That is a Rubicon that we have crossed that makes him completely unique. A unicorn, if a unicorn was a big fat asshole. If I can't have your faith on that, it's very hard for me to understand where you're coming from on any issue.
And you know what's so funny? Because Bill Maher is the one who is yelling at people, who is yelling at Joy Reid and the people over on MSNBC who are telling their viewers to cut off their family members for the holidays and, you know, not go to Thanksgiving, not go to Christmas if their family members voted for Donald Trump, our president now. And Bill Maher is the one yelling at them, saying how ridiculous that was. Now he's sitting here across from Dr. Phil. Like, if you can't tell me that Donald Trump is worse than Joe Biden right here, right now, then I'm not going to be able to take you seriously. I'm not going to be able to have the rest of this conversation with you. And Dr. Phil's just like, dude, I'm not going to say that. And I think what everybody knows in the situation, and I think Dr. Phil has to know, and including Bill Maher, which is why he's forcing Dr. Phil to try to admit this, is because Bill Maher knows, not saying, and the reason why Dr. Phil doesn't want to say that Donald Trump is worse than Joe Biden is because he doesn't believe it. And he doesn't want to say it the other way because Dr. Phil likes to claim that he's not political, he's in the middle. But if you start to claim stuff like that, you start to say Donald Trump is not worse than Joe Biden or the opposite, then you just, I mean, even though it's not really a political statement, it's just common sense. One of them has extreme onset dementia, and the other one is a functioning human being. But then they start to say, oh, you're getting political now. Oh, you're a right-winger. You're an alt-righter. Like, It's just a lose-lose for Dr. Phil. You can see the death stare he's giving Bill Maher right now. Let's go ahead and see what his response is here.
I'm telling you.
Doc, you can't do it.
No, I'm telling you this. That's a cop-out. What difference does it make? A, he's not in power now. B, he's probably not going to be. And C, it doesn't. Let me ask you this. No, wait a minute. Hang on. You've read 1984 how many times?
Once.
You have a good memory.
I mean, it was like college time, but I loved it, and I certainly remember the gist, the Ministry of Truth.
Yeah, and Oceana.
Yes.
The government came in. They said, we're going to tell you what words you can use. We're going to tell you what words you can't use.
Yes.
And if you don't do it right, we're going to unperson you.
I'm all over that.
You remember all that?
I know. And by the way, the Biden administration actually tried to have this year a Ministry of Truth. They almost called it. It was very close to that. I can't remember the name.
It was close.
It was close, and it was exactly what that is. I agree.
But even beyond that, let me tell you this.
But you think that's a bigger problem than Donald Trump?
No, I don't.
Oh,
because I don't think politics are the big problem. What I'm telling you is this. That's happening again, but it's not the government doing it. We're doing it to each other. This cancel culture bullshit, we're doing what 1984 had Oceana, the government, doing. We're doing to each other.
I understand. I couldn't agree more.
It's the culture that's the problem here. You're wanting to say, let's pick somebody and throw them against the wall, whether it's Biden or Trump or Bush or whoever. That doesn't matter. It's culture.
You know what? One thing you have to...
Yeah, Bill Maher saying, I agree. He agrees. He's trying to say he agrees with Dr. Phil. And yet Bill Maher on this very episode, 30 seconds before, was trying to do the very thing that Dr. Phil is criticizing. He's saying, oh, it's the culture that's the problem. It's the different sides. People like Bill Maher trying to throw the other side against the wall and force people to take a hard stance against the other side all the time and nonstop. And it's just not that black and white anymore. We have too much information. We're able to get so much information in the palm of our hands with our phone, with the internet. It's accessible everywhere. That if you fully blindly agree with one side or the other all the time, you are brainwashed. You are part of the problem. And while I am a right-winger and I'm glad Donald Trump is president, there's just a lot of things that Donald Trump that does and says that I disagree with, and I wish he would just go more hardcore. I hate that the fact every time the abortion topic's brought up, Donald Trump that says he would never sign a national abortion bill. I understand why he says that, because he's trying to appeal to the masses here. And it worked out for him, right? He's the president. But me personally, I wish it would be banned. I think abortion is like the worst atrocity that America's ever committed. And yes, that includes slavery. I wish that would be banned. And with the Project 2025 stuff, there's not anything crazy in this Project 2025 nonsense, and there's just not. And every time it's brought up, Donald Trump's like, I have nothing to do with that, I have nothing to do with that. Like, he's so scared to be associated with it. It's like, dude, it's not even that bad, honestly. If you see what it's at, it's nothing crazy. It just has a bit of an ominous name, so I get to use it to their advantage, right? And there's just a ton of things that Donald Trump does that I fully disagree with, but the problem is, there's a lot of right-wingers out there who don't think that way. And normally Ben Shapiro videos, and they love Ben Shapiro, and they eat it up, lick it up, everything he says. And even though he's saying the normie conservative talking points, like, yeah, I'm super anti-war, anti-foreign aid, and when it comes to Russia and Ukraine, but when it comes to the Middle East, he's like full on, yeah, we must go to war, we must go to war, we must join with that country over there and go to war against the other side. It's just weird and backwards, hypocritical, and the left wing is way worse about it. But both sides are part of the problem, absolutely. And Dr. Phil is correct here. Both sides are part of the problem. Left wing is certainly way worse with it, where, like, if you are not fully as woke as you can be, balls to the wall, I don't know if they have balls, but if any situation, they just shun you from the left. They shun you from the woke left, whereas the right wing is not like that. We can disagree and still be like, at least we're on the same side here. We're pushing for the same thing here. Yet the left wing is like, no, you have to be as ultra woke as you possibly can. Every single scenario, situation, or you're just canceled. And that's what happened to Joe Rogan, Russell Brand, Anna Kasparian. This happened to so many different people, and that's why they're going to lose, right? And that's why they did lose. And they're just going to cannibalize themselves. That's what they've always done. But the right wing definitely does have that problem as well. Let's get back into this clip here, though.
Have in a friendship, and I hope we're friends now for a long time, is the ability to air your differences and then just move on. Like this is a microcosm to me of what has to happen in America. You're Dr. Phil. You know, you're legendary for being a guy who like fixes other people's problems, a wise elder, and you are. But I'm just not where you are and never will be on this Trump thing, and you're not where I am, and that's okay. And just like if we were in a marriage, I assume, we now just move on, right? I just know that about you. It doesn't make me dislike you or come close to hate. No, it just is like, okay, that's where this guy is. There's no universal judge who tells us which one is right, but we go on, we just go forward knowing that we're not quite there on that.
Let me tell you something about me.
Yeah?
You want to know something about me?
I want to know everything about you.
Okay. And you can go back 26 years because I spent 5 years in the public spotlight on Oprah.
Right.
And then 21 years of my own show. And in that time, I have never spoke ill of someone in the public eye. I don't do it. And I'll tell you why. And I'll give you an example. Like I was on, I think it was Letterman or Leno, the night after Mel Gibson had some kind of traffic
Sugar tits.
mishap on
Sugar tits.
Pacific Highway.
That's it.
And he said the Jews called all
right, that's where we're gonna cut it off right there. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. We just can't talk about that on this channel or on YouTube. We're not doing it. We're not gonna do it. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about Dr. Phil shutting down Bill Maher for getting too woke and trying to back him into a corner and force him to admit that Donald Trump is worse than Joe Biden. Just embarrassing that we're still doing that in 2025. Let me know in the comments what you think this whole Bill Maher versus Dr. Phil situation on the Club Random podcast.